Like to call to order the Wednesday, August 28th, 2024 Council Convocation. 7:02 p.m. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
James Stewart, present.
James Gates.
Pat Johnwell.
Jimmy, you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which stands one nation under God, justice for all.
This meeting is being recorded. Is anyone else recording? Chairman's additions and or deletions. I don't have any. Review and approve meeting minutes.
Yes, yes, and yes for me.
You can't do it like that. We have to redo the 24th of June
Why?
because you didn't vote on it.
What do you mean we didn't vote
You
on
didn't
it?
vote on
You
it.
know, I thought it got missed.
You say you guys all agreed it was good, but there wasn't an actual vote taken.
Right.
Oh,
That
I
was
didn't
when
take a
wasn't
motion?
right, and that's when I wasn't
It's
here.
not my job to be the chairman. I'm the clerk. See over there on the right-hand side where it says clerk. Clerks don't run the meetings. That's why mistakes happen.
You can appoint me. Oh, he asked me to,
I want you to,
but he's not here.
What?
Yeah, I'll motion that.
Well, that is down the
It's
the
not
list.
that long, but
Vice chair, you can take my spot, Pat.
no, you're very good at what you do.
All right, so everyone have a chance to look at this. Or the rest of them. So next year, AI will be doing this for us.
Those computers are all outlawed by them, which I just mentioned.
So, discussion. Arrow's joining us from Spaceship.
To give you the background on that one, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
did you ever watch the show Lost in Space?
Way too young for
Yes.
that. I mean,
Okay, so the backgrounds of Bridge of the Jupiter 2, Mark Goddard, one of the cast members of the show, was a personal friend of mine. And he passed away last year, and a bunch of us are keeping that up in his memory for a little while.
I'm all for it. My oldest changed my wife's Zoom to something.
Yeah, that was a good show.
So are we good with these meeting minutes? 6:24:24, 7:10:24, and 8:14:24?
Yeah, I just did a couple of corrections, but nothing minor.
What were they?
It was just, separate, it just had underline of, a couple things that were misspelled and then separating, Concom.
Did you mark any of it on a?
No, I just fixed my sheet.
So could I take that from
It
you
was a
after we vote?
misspell?
Yeah.
You know, that's hard to believe because that's who did it, but.
Okay.
Are you grumpy?
I just didn't think a misspell would bring any.
It's not changing anything. We can
Right.
still vote on this
Right.
with the amended changes, so.
So my computer comes up and does it, so.
Oh, I didn't. All right. So in other words, it's not like you would sit in front of them looking for misspelling.
No, it would come up and put underline and then I would look to see. And then it would put it in.
Jessica, you know about this?
No comment. I'm not sure. I'd never make typos or mistakes ever. So this must be someone else's work.
Trying to go down the line, find out who's responsible for this.
So Pat, if you've done it on your sheet, or if you want to highlight it and drop it off to Jessica or email it to her, but we can, I'd make a motion to accept.
Yeah.
meeting minutes from 6/24/24, 7/10/24, and 8/14/24 with any changes submitted. Second,
Second.
give me seconds, that, discussion, no. Roll call vote,
James Strong, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Generally, yes.
Point 7, staff report.
All right. All right. So this covers a lot of time because of a canceled meeting, and then I was not at the last one. So just bear with me because I'm gonna go through a lot. Building permit sign-offs for 6 Campbell Farm Lane, 94 Main Street, 235 Wallace Hill Road, 216 Old Turnpike, 101 Highland, 1 John Birch Memorial Drive, 26 Barker Hill Road, 145 Lunenburg Road, 40 Wheeler, and 30, oh, not 30 Shirley yet. We're waiting to see what you guys decide on the RDA. Board of Health interdepartmental signatures were 152 North End Road and 12 Canal Street. Completed approvals in the last 6 weeks was a -3 determination of applicability for 94 Main Street, -3 determination of applicability for 18 Coppersmith. Standard order of conditions was issued for 88 Meadow Road. A complete certificate of compliance was issued for 238 South Row Road and 158 Fitchburg Road. Standard order of conditions issued for 21 Emery Road. The emergency certificate for the Squanicook WMA down by the VFW pond was issued. A -3 determination of applicability for Sauna Row, for 11 Sauna Row Road was issued. Certificate of compliance is issued for 27 Scales Lane and 88 Meadow Road. And then an order of conditions issued for MassDOT at that 119 Edward Road culvert. Active applications in right now, an NOI, it's incomplete, but it's an NOI for 22 Sauna Row Road. So once that's complete, I'll keep processing it for you guys. We have the RDA for 30 Shirley Road and 20 Coppersmith. We have NOIs for 94 Fitchburg, 12 Canal Street, and 50 Sauna Row Road. And then upcoming at your next meeting is an RDA for 46 Emery Road. Some compliance updates. The 5 Saunders Road order of conditions, they have all their pre-construction stuff up to speed. 21 Emery Road, same deal, confirmation of recording, pre-construction inspection, that's all done. 80 Main Street, the Harbor Church, I've sent them several reminders to keep their silt fence in good working condition. It does look like it's finally backed with some extra, I don't know what, but it looks like it'll be more stable at this point.
Where was that again, Jessica?
Right at the
That's the church.
Nice Grove Road.
Okay.
I contacted a few outstanding orders that we haven't heard from in a while. 75 Pierce Road. They have a 2-year vegetation monitoring requirement that you guys put on their order that we've heard nothing from them. So I'm still waiting to hear back from them. I've made a few attempts and didn't hear back. And then 187 Pierce Road, you guys have an enforcement order actually at that property. And I am also looking for a living stem count update from them.
What is the enforcement for, Jessica? 187 Pierce?
That was the one where they didn't extend the permit. And they hadn't done the mitigation.
All right, so
So instead of reissue or extending the permit and going through all the headache, it was easier to do
real
an
name.
EO,
Okay,
get them to do their
okay,
mitigation.
I got it.
They overplanted,
Yeah,
but it's time to monitor it. Is that correct, Jessica?
Well, yeah, they overplanted, but because they expanded their limits
That's why we want-
disturbance.
Yeah,
So,
so overplanting wasn't really the best thing for them to do.
I don't know.
It didn't matter.
Well, they
Okay.
felt if someone died, they'd have the overflow that they got.
Moving forward, Jessica, sorry to
Oh.
interrupt.
That's okay. Back in May, a couple months ago, I don't remember, you guys issued an order of conditions for 2 Capricorn Lane. I haven't heard anything from them at all, but I drove by the other day and work was definitely already ongoing and there was no DEP sign installed. So therefore they did not have a DEP sign and they did not schedule a pre-con meeting or inspection for erosion control. So a fine was sent out to them a couple days ago for that. And then Jim, I'm not stealing his thunder, but he's been just monitoring the bridge replacement of the Greenville Road Bridge over Walker Brook.
Yeah, I
And a
was out
couple-
there today, so things look fairly good. The water's really slowing down, so I don't know if at what point in time they're gonna do the live bottom underneath the culvert. They should almost be with no water running, so that is looking favorable.
Great. And then just a couple miscellaneous things. We did finally receive the 2 hard copies of that Conscom jurisdictional areas map that we had the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission GIS team do. So those are in our office. They look really great. And so those, if just as a quick reminder, those kind of highlighted in red, all the known areas in Townsend that would be under your jurisdiction. So floodplain, perennial streams, wetlands, all their associated buffers, vernal pools, etc.
Now, does this gonna have the FEMA upgrades on floodplain area?
It does not, because those are not actually in effect yet until
Okay.
spring or summer of next year.
Next year, okay.
We do have a table of all active order of, for our records, all active order of conditions ever issued, I think, in the OneDrive online. For those of you who don't access the OneDrive, we can always just take a look in the office at some point too. But it just
None of us have access to it.
it's in the weekly or in the meeting folders, the weekly ones. But
Okay,
okay. Just tell if you guys can't access it, you have to tell me because otherwise I don't know.
Okay.
And then I did receive a notification that the Squanicook emergency work will be happening this Friday. So, the end.
Meeting where on Squanicook?
Your
the-
project.
VFW, it's not the Squanicook. It's not on the Squanicook.
Well, it's the
Connected to-
wildlife management area
Okay,
property. Yeah.
yeah, we'll be done with that Friday. Have a ribbon cutting Monday, refreshments and stuff.
2 Peppercorn Lane, the amount for the fine was $150.
Okay, I
Just
put
so-
200, all right. And what, in the,
But
the erosion control look pretty comical, Jessica?
Yeah. It kind of looked like
It didn't
trash
double.
bags. A little saggy.
Well, it's all about recycling these days, Jessica. I gotta take a peek at that.
one of the, in the next upcoming meeting or two, I'd like to throw out there a fine schedule so that it's transparent
Yeah, so us and,
for everyone, for the whoever
yeah,
needs to utilize it. All right, thank you, Jessica.
and 2 Capricorners again for what, a septic replacement?
No, small addition. You showed up, yeah, you showed up late and then I walked around with you.
Okay, stay though. Nice. All right.
717, 2.1, notice of intent 94 Fitchburg Road. TWB 2024 188, BEP number 308-0715, applicants Townsend Highway Department. Project is for extension of drainage pipe from Fitchburg Road into wetland buffer. So make a motion to open the hearing for this.
I'll second
Second. Roll call vote.
James Ryan, yes.
James Gates, yes.
it. Pat Gilmore, yes.
Excuse me, pursuant to the Mass WPA and Townsend Wetland bylaws, the Townsend Concom will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 28th, 2024 at 7:15 PM. The hearing will be held virtually via Zoom and in person at Town Hall on a notice of intent filed with the Concom by Townsend Highway Department. The property is located at 94 Fitchburg Road, Assessors Map 16, Parcel 39, Lot 2. The proposed project is for the extension of a public storm drain pipe to outfall into the 100-foot bordering vegetated wetland buffer. Parties wishing to speak in support of or in opposition to this application may do so at the meeting and in writing prior to the meeting. Copies of the application are available for review at Town Hall during business hours. The others all set. There is no DEP had no comments.
On the extension of that culvert
There was
or the
none.
culvert at all, they had no comments.
No comment.
Surprise, surprise. Sky's the limit.
Keith Letourneau is here representing the highway department. Now, you guys aren't going to be doing the work, though.
So when we refer to the builder's gonna be doing the work, have we decided we're going to extend it from where it is in that existing for another how many feet?
So I guess, Keith, if you don't mind explaining what it is, what was requested.
What had happened is, we had an icing problem across the way, there's a catch basin over there. Over time, we actually did some research with it, we cleaned the basin out, we discovered it was a pipe head across the street. So towards the end of last winter, we actually cleaned it out, found the outlet of it, cleaned it out, and let it flow. Fortunately, it pretty much goes through the side of the yard. So we made a recommendation that we pipe it in, put a structure there, a manhole, so we can have a clean up.
Yep.
And
Two right side, left side.
yep, and run the pipe underground, that way it doesn't go across the ground, out back. And he has done that, but I think we said that would be 23 years.
Those are gonna be my two questions. I'm gonna wanna know if they had no comment with DEP, it is what it is. And my other question to Keith and Jimmy, doesn't matter what was the evaluation of the culvert that was going across 119? What did it seem like its condition of how it's been there a while?
It's, we haven't fully cleaned it out yet. There's a lack of manpower, but, it's all concrete. In the past experience that I've had, most of the concrete, looking under them, on Route 13, they've all been really good.
So the longevity of what that is under 119 will be able to hold up, hopefully, to continue water flow from the opposite side.
And it's basically mainly springtime or wet winter, and more rain than snow. That's when it's actually a problem.
All right.
Pat, do you walk this? Do you want to see what the plan again there?
No, I remember everything that, we saw and discussed.
Jessica, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I do not.
And you guys are going to monitor it to make sure the work's done as it says. Yeah, the firm is in your name, so we'll need a pre-construction meeting.
When you say a pre-construction meeting for the extension of it, where it is
For
now,
the- Once the.
have we
work
made the
control-
decision we're gonna extend it another 40 feet, or are we
Yeah,
gonna
they-
allow it to remain the way it is?
Nope. Her plan is to extend it.
And you guys wanna extend it?
No, they're not going to, the builders.
Correct, but it'll be under the guidelines and you will ultimately take responsibility for it. So you're gonna need overview of it as to what they do.
Reconstruction meetings for the erosion control, you sign all that kind of stuff.
For
The
the
project.
ability to put pipe in, cover it, and extend it 40
Yeah.
feet. Yeah, I understand. I thought that was gonna be left up to us to decide if we were gonna bless the extension.
It is, because we get to vote. We haven't voted on it yet. But DEP has approved, so the plan that was submitted. Do not agree with it.
That's why I said sky's the limit. If DEP had made any comments, which I'm very surprised they didn't, about extending culverts
I agree.
up and away. Moving on.
You were there when I called Jim and told them I can't believe they didn't say anything.
It's rare. That's why I said sky's the limit. I very few times I've ever seen an NC coming back, especially with a culvert situation over
When
a
was the
state
last time you
highway.
had something that DEP didn't?
It's been a while.
Right?
Go back, especially when it involved a culvert.
I don't know if it's involved in that, but yeah, I mean, even like some other stuff, you know, it's been a while. A lot of those people that were there have moved on, so you have a whole new fleet of people reviewing, so they're usually picking up on it.
In other words, a lot of young eyes are in there now. It's interesting, because, you know, they have moved some, yeah,
But it's also, yeah, based on interpretation. A person can interpret
absolutely.
the section of the WPA one way and another person can interpret it a different way. We've seen it. It doesn't mean we need to accept it either.
Moving forward.
You sure? Okay. We have copies to sign when we're done. So. I make a motion to, issue a order of conditions. A standard order of conditions for 94 Fitchburg Road, TWB 2024-188 and DEP 308-0715. The Highway Department for drainage pipe extension. We have a second?
Second,
Second. Roll call vote?
Wait,
Jim
sorry,
Stevens, yes.
sorry. Do you guys want any special conditions on your attachment A? Please.
I don't feel that there's a need for it.
I assume they're gonna have riprap to the end, the tail end of
Yeah,
it.
it's right in the plan.
As I could see it in the
Some
corner of
big
my eye, so
rocks,
I don't see anything other than an extension, 40 feet. It's gonna roll into the wetland area. And if anything, it might have a little safer overtone, because coming down to the end of the bank, then you have that big cut into the ground, whatever. It's pretty much just straightforward.
Jessica, I don't feel that there's a need, but if you do.
Oh, no,
Or-
no, that's fine. I didn't want to put nothing if you guys didn't actually say nothing. So just clarify
Okay,
that
no.
moving forward. Thank you.
We didn't see anything. Yeah, I'm objective to 40 feet of culvert. I've never seen it. It's just like when we watched what they were gonna be doing down at Docks. 500 feet down through a field. What did Mia say? I don't think so. A different beast, different situation, but it's the whole thing of already
There's a velocity to that, though.
coming down through. I get it. You know, I'm just in awe of a no comment.
That is a different animal.
Sure
So I
is.
made a
Yes.
motion, Jimmy made a second.
We're good.
Do we have discussion?
Okay.
Roll call vote, please.
James Doran, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Pat Jamal, yes.
Not yet.
Just putting, just in
Okay.
preparation of my signature. Yes, all set, 3 in.
That's good. Do you want screen sharing for the next one?
12 Canal.
If you want me to, sure. Hartley or Dave, whoever is there, can I please have screen sharing permissions?
Okay, it's Hartley here. I'll give that to you in just one moment.
Thank you.
7:28.
Okay, Jessica, you should have it now.
Great, thanks.
Excuse me.
Yeah, we're a little early for the next one. So what I will do is we'll bring it down to
4.1.
part of my chair deletions is we're gonna move 3.3 vote for officers to next meeting because Kevin is not here.
3.3. Okay. That's 2 meetings. He's out. I motion we give him a verbal warning. Maybe even a written. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, what did you get when it happened to you?
They didn't care. Big difference.
3.4 request for CONSCOM to co-sponsor Community Preservation Act public meeting. So I will give everyone a little quick spiel. This public meeting is Thursday, September 26, 2024, at 7 p.m. in Memorial Hall in Townsend. What is the CPA? The CPA is an act that helps communities preserve open space, historic sites, develop outdoor recreational facilities, support youth sports fields, maintain playgrounds, support outdoor recreation, and support affordable housing. Like an employer retirement account, you pay some tax money in and the state matches a certain percentage. What could Townsend community do with the money? The town of Townsend alone through a local committee, not the state, chooses how to spend the money. As long as the funding helps to improve the town and what is offered for open space, historic sites, outdoor recreational facilities, or housing, a project would be eligible. Once approved by the committee, all proposals must be passed by town meeting. The CPA is critically needed to allow the rail trail, and that's a thing, but in building the rail trail, Squanicook Greenways has used all the money from many years of fundraising, and that the 20% match needed for Mass Trails grant without CPA for the construction will either be greatly slowed or stopped altogether. So example of some projects could receive funding, expansion of the rail trail in West Townsend, support preservation of historic properties that bring in visitors that support local businesses, enhance sports fields, renovate playgrounds, improve hiking trail signage, affordable housing. Squanicook Greenways brought in CPA to fund a portion of the 3rd year of construction and 4th year of construction in that portion of the rail trail.
That one into Groton
And it
partial,
wasn't a $10,000 grant that they received. It was
substantial.
substantial.
And how far did we go into Groton from
That was
Townsend?
120. That portion was just under a mile.
Under 1 mile. All right.
So the petition, so what exactly is being proposed? The petition supports a 1% surcharge on property tax. There are exceptions based on income. First $100,000 of property value for everyone is exempt. Age 60 and over, making less than 100% of the median income for a family of two, which is just under $106,000. You are exempt. You can opt out and pay nothing. Any age and make less than 80% of the median income, which is just under $85,000 for a family of two. You can opt out as well.
For that 1.5 increase on your taxes,
1%.
1%.
But the first $100,000 is off.
Mm-hmm.
So an example is a $400,000 house. The basis for the amount is $300,000. The rate is 0.01441. The total amount for the year is $45.20. Up to $600,000 home value basis for the amount is $86.46. So those are just examples. Townsend. So how much money can we expect to get as a town annually? Townsend has about 8% of the population. Based on Townsend population properties, we expect the amount raised each year will be around $190,000. The thing is the state is kicking the money this way. So
Is that a match, or are they waiting to see if the participation is there?
what do you?
Are they gonna, in other words, if they see a lot of people in town going for it, not opting out, does that increase their participation in the amount of money they would put into it?
No. They
And
participate no
everybody's
matter
gotta
what.
keep in mind, 1% here, 2.5% override, a little bit, taxes just keep creeping up, more and more. I'm on a fixed income. I'm a retired person.
How old are you?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. How old are you? Are you over
66.
60? Well, you didn't have to give me your exact age. But you're over 60, so you're exempt. You can
Still, I speak
file
to
a form.
just see a lot of tax increases.
I'm definitely exempt. I have no money. I'm 71.
I did what was asked of me, so I make a motion that Conscom co-sponsors the Community Preservation Act meeting Thursday, September 26, 2024 at 7 p.m. Is there a second?
I'll second.
What's the date again on that?
Thursday, September 26th, 7 p.m. in the Great Hall.
Got to go into that one too.
Roll call vote, please. James Gates, yes.
Pat Gemini, yes.
You're gonna have to vote because you're co-sponsoring.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's all good. It's all good.
well, just because you don't have to pay into it. It gives the younger families a
I
chance.
pay into everything anyway. Indirectly, directly, it doesn't matter. Are we going up to our 7:35?
Yes, it is 7:36. 2.2. Notice of intent, 12 Canal Street, TWB 2024-189 and DEP number 308-0714. The applicant is Grace, how do you pronounce her last name, Jack?
Is it Mia? Maya?
Representing them is Jacqueline Dillison Roy. Is a residential septic replacement within the riverfront. I motion to open the hearing at 7:37 p.m. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote.
James.
Jimmy?
James Strong, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Pat Jamal, yes.
Jessica, can you hear Jimmy?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Why did I mumble?
No, it's quiet.
I could.
Pursuant to the Mass WPA and Townsend Wetland bylaws, the Townsend Concom will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 28th at approximately 7:35 p.m. The hearing will be held via Zoom and in person at Town Hall on an NOI filed with the Concom by Grace Mia. The property is located at 12 Canal Street, Assessor's Map 47, Parcel 39. The proposed project is for a residential septic replacement within the riverfront area. Parties wishing to speak in support of or in opposition to this application may do so at the meeting or in writing prior to the meeting. Copies of the application are available for review at Town Hall during business hours. Jack?
Okay, we had a site walk last week and mostly everybody were there. We have an existing 5-bedroom house with a failed septic system. The existing septic tank is here in red and leach field is in this clouded area here. We did some soil testing over in this yellow area where the proposed septic system is. A new septic tank pump chamber will be installed just outside the protected habitat zone as per comments from Natural Heritage, and then will be pumped over to the new leaching field over in this area.
And that's the old one where it was, and we moved it approximately
15, 17 feet. Yeah.
Okay.
So, as of yesterday, Westboro hadn't received our package, our hard copy package. I did email them last week with the changes, and Jessica had gone back yesterday and asked Melanie if there was any comments from them, but until they get a hard copy package, they're not going to release a letter, but it's going to be a negative anyway. So we do have a verbal okay from them. 90% of the property is located within the 100-foot buffer zone, as well as the 100-foot inner riparian zone right here. We're keeping it as far away as we can without impacting any other lot lines or anything like that. You know, keeping in the same general area as what's here. Basically, from beyond the wattle area here, it's all wooded, so we're still in an open area.
And that's right about here was where that other candy cane was.
Yeah,
Event line.
out in this area here, correct.
So that will, okay.
Yeah. So we plan on using wattles the whole way, but there is going to be one section that will be silt fence, which would be in that protected habitat area and the area that's closest to the river itself, the double dark line that you see around the tanks.
In that habitat area, there's just minimal square footage.
Yeah. Yeah, the work area would be right in here in order for us to get a clean out in, put a new line over here, pump crush, and fill the old tank in.
Okay, so you're gonna crush it.
Yep.
I just saw this on your silt fence. It said your line says see silt fence detail. I only see the star wattle detail.
Second page, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna
Is
say,
there
you're on
that
it.
was the next question is there a second page?
Should be.
Okay.
Siltation barrier, bottom left.
Have a second page?
I got it.
You don't have the second page?
Not in this one, but there's more in here that I just
Probably
didn't
Yeah,
have.
the second page of the hard, straightforward, so
Is there anything else on the second page I should know?
Just the pump notes, the pump curve,
Okay.
trench
Nothing
detail, vent detail.
no.
I don't really have. It's
just
a basic, or it's replacement system and,
nothing.
it's something.
Yeah.
There's that one,
flat yard.
there's that one tree that may be affected, but maybe not over in this area. I think it was some sort of a fruit tree. Yeah. But other than that, it's all lawn.
Meaning it may be, they may have to
Try to
take it out.
stay, yeah, try to stay away from it if they can. There's some room to play with. On this side, we can slide it further away just a little bit to protect it, but.
How often do you find Natural Heritage going in and making adjustments like that, moving a tank back? I don't think we find ourselves.
No,
And-
this
and
one's a
endangered
unique
species
situation
area.
because of where the tank is located. It's in the habitat.
In it, which,
And in conversation with Melanie Cheeseman at Natural Heritage, it's still considered work within the habitat. So that's why, you
Is
know,
that a wall? Right, on the riverside? I know it's canal.
it's the big, it's
But
the
is
old
it an actual wall on
granite
the shoreline?
granite stack wall.
there's a shoreline right there.
There's,
This grand stack.
No, it's a granite stack wall completely. There's no,
Yeah, it comes down to a certain point and then it stops, but I walked right down the banking over here to the edge.
banking after that.
Yeah,
well, a little further up, it goes to banking.
yeah, I think that wall comes to,
tank currently sits, it's banking.
Is, okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okey dokey.
do you have any?
No.
questions or concerns?
Waddles, and it's just gonna be that area at
Waddles,
the corner of the house,
Waddles the whole
to
way,
there.
and then from this section,
from the corner
Up
house
to the
right up to
garden
that
area.
one section, they want you to
so
kind of
fence.
silt fence and waddles.
Yeah.
Well, they're taking good care of our,
Again,
that was-
it's a pretty
That was
flat.
my decision to do that.
He knows us so well.
Kiwa
He knows us so well.
sticklers.
We appreciate it.
Mike Woodwards with us. This is your project. Do you have any comments or anything else that is?
Yeah.
He's digging.
Yeah, it's sand, it's
It's a
sand.
slight gradient heading to the water, that's all.
Jessica, do you have anything or any thoughts you wanted to add?
Nope, I do not. Yeah, other than with what Jack said about the NHESP letter coming, that it is expected to be no effect. So,
So should that be noted in a special condition?
Because we're pending comment.
I mean, I've only seen a special condition about the letter if they end up putting their own special conditions, but we already have in writing from her, unofficially that they will not have any comments. So I don't think it's necessary to put as a special condition for your order.
Gotta love it.
Right.
We'd love to find some difficulty in it, but we just can't.
I make a motion to issue a standard order of conditions for 12 Canal Street, TWB 2024-189, DEP number 308-0714.
I'll second that.
James Duran, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Pat Jones, yes.
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, I make a motion to close the hearing for 12 Canal Street, TWB 2024-189, DEP number 308-0714. Second,
James Duran, second.
roll call vote.
James Duran, yes.
James Gates, yes.
And Pat Jones, yes.
And now I'm gonna backtrack
Thank you, Jack.
and thank you, Jack.
Thanks for coming
I
in.
make a
You
motion to
guys-
close.
Oh, perfect. I just noticed that with the minutes. Thanks.
Good, Jack. Thank you. Good night. Thank you, guys. If you need volunteer form, either of you.
Pretty good. If I had more time.
Take care.
Tried. Make a motion to close the hearing 494 Fitchburg Road, TWB 2024-188 and DEP number 308-0715. Do I have a second?
And second,
Roll call vote.
James Duran, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Pat Jones, yes.
$7:47.
We can start early.
Yeah, okay. Correspondence.
You're up, John.
So 401 upcoming Mass DEP WPA 101 presentations. The hybrid in-person at Zero and remote on Teams, this is Mass DEP is offering a WPA 101 presentation, which provides a general overview to help seasoned staff and new commissioners learn and refresh their knowledge of the WPA. The hybrid session is Monday, September 9th, 2024, 1 p.m. That one's hybrid. It's either in person at their office or remote. Session will include an overview of the WPA with focus on paperwork, forms, and processes. This session will be tailored towards staff, but be useful for commissioners without staff. Wednesday, September 18th, 2024, at 6 p.m. remote on Teams.
September 18th?
Yes. Session will include an overview of the WPA with a focus. Do you mind signing in, please? Session will include an overview of the WPA with a focus on reading the regulations and project review tips. This session will be tailored toward commissions, but is useful for new staff to gain familiarity. I can't talk with the WPA regulations. These are RSVP by Friday, September 6th. And if anyone would like to attend, please let Justin know and she'll register. We are hoping upcoming MSA Civic Participation Webinar. We're hoping to have people attend this webinar who would be interested in helping us expand our volunteer base. It would be great to get more volunteers for our boards and committees. Registration is now open for the MSA Fall Program webinar on 9/19. That was from Sabrina Moore. And that is from 12 to 1.
This is going to be MACC classes coming
Yes,
up.
there's the fall blitz, which
is another.
We'll add 4.3 MACC.
4.3 from MACC?
Yeah. So, upcoming workshops, Mushrooms for Beginners. That is in Framingham, Saturday, September 14th.
What's in Framingham? Mushrooms?
Mushrooms, yep.
For beginners?
Yep. Has your name written all over it.
Boy.
The
Is that in the Garden of the Woods in Framingham, I assume? Most likely. Yeah. They'll probably have it at the campus. They do some really good stuff
then,
down there.
Yeah, so the list is, Jessica can print out the list, but there are several classes, September 24th, 26th, October 8th, 9th, 10th, 15th, 23rd, 24th, of different units of the fundamentals for certificate training program.
The MECC.
Yes, and those are all held virtually from 6 to 8:30.
Jessica, that class that they're having in Framingham, do you know if that's at the Garden of the Woods campus?
I can try to find it. 1 second.
Yes.
It
It
says
is?
Framingham. Yeah, Garden in the Woods. Wow, good job.
I'm all about the mushroom, you know that.
Sounds like it.
But it's a nice campus. They have all the different plant life. They have a vernal pool on site. They have different species. They, even have planted invasives in that area so they can demonstrate what it does, et cetera. It's a really nice place to go for a day for classes. I mean, that would be something good for you. There's a lot of different stuff that they do down there. Thank you.
There's also a young professionals event coming up if anyone's interested.
Yes, there were 2 of them.
Yeah. On the back of that pamphlet you just gave me.
No, that was something else.
Okay.
The young professionals, so they have a forest talk, where the trees are telling us, that is September 12th for 6 to 7 p.m. in Hadley.
Oh, in the valley, they'll have one in Hatley. Nice.
Yep, and then there's pints and pups on the patio thing September 10th in Everett.
Pints and
Yeah,
pups.
I don't know. I think it's just an excuse to drink.
I'm in. Right? Jessica, you'll have a list of those different programs in Framingham?
There's just the one for MHCC. I'm sure they have programs down there every week.
Right. One that you can pick and choose soils and there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, MACC hosts a lot of different
3 of them.
classes. So
Yes.
depending on like what the topic is, they're in different locations. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you guys are interested, you do have a training budget, so and like an education type thing. So
I mean, when you go to something like at Framingham above and beyond what you'll get from an MACC, Framingham is far more intense. They really have good instructors. It's a really nice setting. I've always gotten a lot more out of that than on MACC. In Walden Woods, I'm surprised they haven't sent anything out. Usually come fall time they do.
You mind if I move on?
Maybe.
Can we go circle back?
No.
2.3, 7:55 p.m. It's 56. Notice intent 50 Sana Road, TWB 2024-190, and DEP number 3080713. Applicants Rob Becker. Project is installation of seasonal dock in Vinton Pond.
013.
0713. It says it on the sheet.
Yeah. 3 DEP.
Yes, sir. I make a motion to open the hearing. Do I have a second?
Check.
Give me a second and roll call vote, please.
James Ryan.
James Gates, yes.
Pat General, yes.
Pursuant to the Mass WPA and Townsend Wetland bylaws, the Townsend Concom will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 28th, 2024 at approximately 7:55 PM. The hearing will be held via Zoom and in person at Town Hall on a NOI filed with the Concom by Rob Becker. The property is located at 50 Sonora Road, Assessors Map 24, Parcel 25, Lot 3. The proposed project is for installation of seasonal dock in Vinton Pond. Resources areas impacted by the seasonal dock are bank and land underwater. Parties wishing to speak in support of or in opposition to this application may do so at the meeting or in writing prior to the meeting. Copies of the application are available for review at Town Hall during business hours. The DEP's comments are as follows. Commission should confirm if there is a bordering vegetative wetland associated with the edge of the pond. If BVW is present and the structure is close to the ground shading the vegetation, it may be considered as BVW alteration and require replication. Which is not the case. The commission should request at least a sketch plan to scale showing the proposed location of the dock to include existing conditions and any proposed vegetation removal and or work within may be associated with the project as the site appears to be undeveloped. There is additional work proposed within the buffer zone to accommodate installation and removal of the dock. How will the seasonal dock be secured to either the bank or the LUW? Jessica, what's LUW? Land underwater, never mind. The
Yep.
applicant should include all work proposed to secure the dock. As Vinton Pond is a listed great pond, any existing or proposed retaining walls, steps, or docks that fall within the mean annual high water line, i.e. structures is in contact with the water line during a typical year may require Chapter 91 license if not already acquired. So additional requirements. Just restate the Chapter 91 license. I don't understand. They must have just taken a satellite view.
That is what they do. That is what they did
I
for
know.
that.
Mr. Becker is here, if you don't mind
And we,
discussing.
I filed the DEP thing without a photograph of the site, so they didn't have context of that concrete anchor thing
For a house.
for the house. So,
but they can bring it right up on Bing.
but I emailed them
GIS.
the photo and they said, thank you for the context, so I think they now understand.
And you demonstrated to us where it will be going up onto the bank
Yep.
above and beyond the concrete wall.
It's,
Yeah,
I don't know if Pat saw it. You saw it?
Yeah,
See
I
it?
saw, yeah.
I forgot the part about how it's attached. There's two bolts on those concrete steps that hold it to the bank while it's in the water. Two screws that take it out at the end of the year.
did we get pictures of that? Seems a little complicated. Is that for the driftaway policy, those screws?
No, you're gonna have to do submittals on it to get approval. I
Let's go.
can't believe they thought the site was undeveloped.
Listen, they made a comment about a dock going in on a pond and they didn't say anything about a 40-foot extension of a culvert.
Who's going to school?
Oh, True goes to Tufts University as a mechanical engineer.
And that's who your
That's my older son. My younger son,
Tufts?
Tufts, and my younger son started BU today.
So is that the college labor operations that were there?
Those are the two that loaded the 30-yard dumpster, yes.
I love it. But
My
they're not,
wife tells me I didn't have kids that have slaves, but this just proves it.
The nonprofit
yeah,
parental
no,
work operations.
did you submit the drawing of the dock to to DEP? Or
Yes.
just us?
No, they have all this, I emailed everything that you have to them as well.
Pat, do you have any,
No, sounds good.
Jimmy,
Splash the holy water on it.
Jessica?
I'm good.
So I make a motion to issue a standard order of conditions, for 50 Sonora Road, TWB 2024-190 and DEP 308-0713.
Second,
Second, roll call vote.
James Dorian,
Yeah, I
yes.
say standard order of conditions. Standard order
Yes,
of conditions.
standard. No negative.
No, no. So Jimmy second, roll call vote.
James Dorian, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Fat Joe, yes.
Nathan.
Once again, thank you for coming in and letting us come on.
And I do know I, with this approval, I can now file the chapter 91, which needs this approval to file, so I will do that next time.
Not through us.
How?
The 91 goes through
No,
Did you get
I
a-
have to file it online.
to Jess.
Well, it says you may, it doesn't mean you have to.
Is that to conservation or DEP?
No, it's
We
the
get a
state.
copy of it.
Oh, okay,
Did you
natural?
get a, did you ask me how, or ask us how to do it?
Jessica gave me some advice.
Did you get a copy of the DEP comments?
You should have a copy
Is
of
that an
those.
email?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
copied on
Yeah.
that email. Yes.
So, under the additional requirements is a what link?
So,
Is the link?
oh, yeah, okay. I've already started the
Oh, okay.
filing. I couldn't finish it because I need this approval to apply.
So when do you close out the order of conditions?
After that's finished. The 91. Is that like the cart and the horse?
I don't know. So, make a motion to close the hearing for 50 Sonora Road, TWB 2024-190, and DEP number 308-0713. Do I have a
Second.
Jimmy second. Roll call vote, please.
James, yes.
James,
Dorian.
James Gates, yes.
Yeah, we
Fat Joe, yes.
two Jimbos on it, you're right. It's too much. Thanks again.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Moving on. It is 8:05.
Have you been up on the pond for foliage yet? When all the leaves change? It's the best.
So we acquired the property, October 1st last year, so we're coming up on 1 year. It's very spectacular.
Class trip quality.
Moving on to 3.1.
Hey guys, sorry, I gotta hop off for mom duties, but I'll catch
Like-
up tomorrow. All right, have a good one.
Bye, Jess.
I was gonna say, I'm not gonna say anything, I'm just, create problems, right?
Good luck to everyone.
Right? I know what you're gonna say.
3.1, RDA, request for determination of applicability, 20 Smith Way, TWB 2024-187. Applicants, Ron and Lori Steers, representative is GPR Inc. Project is septic replacement within the 100-foot wetland buffer and removal of several trees within the 35-foot wetland buffer. So there should be a waiver involved in this.
Because of that construction.
No, because the trees are within the 35 foot.
All the ones in the back
Yes.
on it. Ask one of your colleagues.
What's that?
I heard you guys lost one of your colleagues.
Yeah, unfortunately, a couple weeks back, our chief.
Yeah, he,
All right, legal notice of
Sorry.
pursuant of the Mass WPA and Townsend Wetland bylaws, the Townsend Concom will hold a work session on Wednesday, August 28th, 2024, during their 7 p.m. meeting. The work session will be held via Zoom and in-person town hall on a RDA filed with the Concom by Ron and Lori Steers. The property is located at 20 Coppersmith Way, Assessors Map 27, Parcel 38. The proposed project for septic replacement within the 100-foot bordering vegetated wetland buffer and the removal of several trees within the local 35-foot wetland buffer. Parties wishing to speak in support of or in opposition to this application may do so at a meeting or in writing prior. Copies of the application are available at town hall during business hours. You know, there was a waiver submitted.
Jim Basile, Goldsmith Press and Ringwall.
Can you say that again slowly?
Sure, sorry. For the record, Jim Basile, Goldsmith Press and Ringwall. Here on behalf of Robin Lori Steers. As far as a waiver, I was not aware of any waiver being filed. Was that something that came in, was noted after we submitted the application that that was missing, or?
I don't know. No, I believe.
is doing mommy duties. But the waiver is an existing ongoing for the whole project, isn't
No,
it?
not the
Every
whole
one of the
project.
houses?
Just the trees,
Just the trees.
just the trees
Alright,
he wants to
these
take down in the back.
Be specific on that, all right, with the waiver. Now, isn't that separate to this septic approval, or do the trees need to be removed for us to give the septic?
No, it was
approval?
part of the same, already, the request for determination of applicability.
Okay. Okay,
So it's, within the buffer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
here's the corner of the house,
up here.
and that is where we walk down,
Came down here,
and that's in the 35?
yes.
These are
This
all in
hash,
the, that's the 35 going this way,
yes.
and they're all in the 35?
All except for two.
One,
This one and this one.
and that one.
Stumps are to remain.
Oh, absolutely. And was there a justification to the removal of the trees? Was it for,
Encroachment on the house.
in other words, is there a mold problem? Is there a possibility of trees falling, other branches endangering the children? There usually is gonna have to be some verbal because of
The
trees.
power washer gets a lot of use because of the mold.
So in other words, we're not allowing enough sun to come in, there's a mold build issue and algae are growing on it, okay, all right. And
And what?
were the homeowners supposed to be here to explain to us?
Someone to be here.
Alright, so, I can give a
He
quick
kind of
overview.
just got thrown into it, but the way it looks.
He's got the floor, go.
I can give a quick overview of the project. You guys already kind of did a great job doing it, but, on behalf of the applicant, we prepared a RDA for property at 20 Coppersmith Way for work within the wetland buffer zone. The property contains the single-family dwelling, associated driveway, mix of grass area, wooded areas with the wetland area in the rear of the property, and that projects the 35-foot, 50-foot, 100-foot buffer zones. As you guys had already mentioned, the branches and the trees are just encroaching pretty closely on the rear of the dwelling, causing some issues with mold, and the owners are looking to get those removed, with stumps to remain in place. Also within the buffer zone, there's a proposed leaching area to be installed in the front, I think with
Within the 100-foot buffer.
Thank you, within the
Okay.
100-foot, and that's in the same general location as the existing leaching area. Following the sidewalk, we revised the plan so that the
erosion control barrier was extended to better encircle the proposed leaching area. And once the leaching area has been installed, the area will be loamed and seeded.
So
Still a
Title,
question.
reminder, Title V is exempt from certain aspects of the WPA.
On this particular project.
On
too,
any, or on any septic replacement.
Mhm. And that original system was what? It wasn't you're putting in a Presby, and the one that failed was a what system?
It was a chamber.
Yeah, I think it was a chamber system.
Okay. And I assume it's identical to what was done at 18.
Is that the next?
And we're
one?
doing the
Yeah.
same type of a repair on 20.
Yes.
No.
Well, sorry, what do you mean the?
Are you doing a complete
No, Jimmy,
system?
you're asking,
We're just doing the
So-
upper subsoil and we're doing the tubing.
listen. It was Presby next door. This one,
The Presby channel next door, 20 Papa
I don't know, I think it was chambers. But
It
they
wasn't a
put in
Presby.
they put in a Presby next door.
Mm-hmm. At
This one is
18.
stone and pipe.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Part of my absence of knowledge.
Which I was just trying to look for the soils. Just curious to know what the soils are.
The second sheet should be,
Or is it?
yep, it's in the corner.
Soil absorption area. Soil fill. Okay, so that isn't a Presby going on, it's gonna be a standard stone and
It meets all, obviously
Schedule
it
A.
meets all of the Board of Health rules, now that we can discuss the design of the actual system. I've always curious, what the soil is underneath,
I think I'm more concerned about the rate of failure on those in under a 10-year period.
well.
I approved those 11 years ago. Those new septic installations on this board. And they're already in front of me again in failure. Keep an eye on now.
They've already done two, and there was others, I think, down there last year, or at least.
Yep. Yep.
So. Yeah, so again. Yeah, Pat, do you have any questions or concerns?
No, but it sounds like a mess with all those houses, they're gonna have to do all that. Sure.
They don't know if they have to do, all of them have to be, but these two particulars, 18 and 20 failed. And this isn't because of the Title V and they're selling the house.
Right.
They're because they failed.
Mhm.
And they need to be redone.
So do we know if all of them had the same type of septic put in?
That's a Board of Health question.
Correct. You can probably get that out of Jimmy or Carla, but I think they do.
You mean Rick?
Metcalf.
Yeah, that's right. I
Jimmy
don't know.
would direct you to Rick anyway. Right.
I don't know, so. Do you have anything else you'd like to?
Yeah. No, that's for another day. I just let it be noted that I find it a little concerning that we're seeing failures in the septic system in 10 years. I have a house that the septic system was done 90 years ago and it's still working just like it was the first day. What can I tell you?
besides that area, do we know of other areas in Townsend where they've failed from the same person putting them in?
No.
Hmm.
No.
Again, that would be a Board of Health
Mhm.
question.
This particular project, we gave them a great amount of leeway to put them in.
Yep. And
Size,
required bonding, and then look what happened, the town still ended up having to pay for the road. So
bingo.
one of the things I noticed is the stumps are going to remain
Mhm.
for the trees.
If anything, they can stump grind them down to
If they,
surface level.
if they leave the stumps, then they don't need I'm comfortable. They're not huge trees, they're trees that
Right.
have grown in the last.
But the owner still has the ability to stump grind them
No, he
down to ground level.
Not within the 35-foot buffer.
Surface grinding with stump grinder, non-invasive? Sure.
Okay, well, the stumps are gonna remain, so.
Okay. We're not gonna argue.
So if the stumps are going to remain, I'm fine without a waiver for that. Do you,
For what? Just the 6.
so there are 8
6.
trees total, they're all smaller.
Right. It's just these 2 that are in the 35. The others, the 6 are in the,
These 2 are not.
oh, these are in the 35? Jimmy?
Yes. Pat, you started to say something.
Well, I was thinking about, because even though you cut them down stuff, the roots still grow. So, I mean, I can understand that you can't take stumps out, but it's a shame because they start coming up on the ground and everything. I know because I've had that problem now.
The tree won't necessarily go back in the stump. Once it's cut off, it's done.
Mhm.
The
I beg to
tree
differ
will-
on that one. Need to come to my house.
You'll have some aftergrowth of some of the tree. It's not necessarily the tree growing back.
It's the big, huge roots that come from it, like, because I go to mow every year, it's coming further and further on the ground. I gotta lift the lever on so that the blades don't hit it. And that's where all the trees I had cut down are doing the same thing.
Well, they're not gonna be putting grass back there.
Safety environment. Mold, mildew.
And calls for it not to be. So I make a motion to issue a negative redetermination on this project, 20 Top Smith Way.
Motion on
No, I made the motion, I'm looking for a second.
Second,
it.
Pat, second.
You gotta go with -3?
-3.
Okay. You second that? Okay. James Ryan, yes.
Well, is there a discussion first?
No.
So James Rowling, yes. James Gates, yes.
that generally is.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank
Thank you for your time. See you.
Have a good evening.
you. Me too.
Is that gonna be, there's no sign off on that one, right?
Right here.
There is.
After the meeting. So Jessica will let you know when these are ready and mail them or someone can pick them up.
All right, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's keep this going. I'm dying. There was no waiver on that.
No, this is the stumps you're saying.
Right.
Three point two, what?
3.2.
Yeah, 3.2, request for determination of applicability 30 Shirley Road, TWB 2024-186, applicants Erica Williams and Jason Heyer. Sorry if I butchered that. Project is for removal of trees and installation of fence within the 100-foot wetland buffer. They had the area. Matt, are you still awake? Oh,
Jessica asked me to bring you 2 more copies.
thank you.
Of this.
Yeah, because what she printed out was black and white.
Yeah, I had the same problem for a minute. I had to figure out how to get it to come out color, but there's 2 of them there for you.
Thank you.
And I think we can really simplify this by what I decided to change about it.
The change, and that's
Well, it's gonna be a good change. I'm moving,
is that what's in this?
That's what it's on.
the one that I printed out for you, you can see it much better.
Oh.
I want to start by asking a question. We don't have to talk about anything that's not in the 100-foot barrier or buffer, right? Everything outside the 100-foot buffer doesn't matter, right?
I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter, but it's not within our jurisdiction. So
Okay.
it's not advised legally
Everything
for us
from
to
here
discuss.
down, we don't have to talk about. Everything from this line over, don't worry about it. All we're talking about is right here. From the pink line to the white line.
Hi, Matt.
Matt,
That might solve
Yes.
this.
did you review this, the scope clarification before we dive into it?
Yeah, actually, Jessica provided it to me about 40 minutes ago.
Okay.
So I did have a chance to read it, yes.
Okay, so I'll just read it. Clarify the scope, between 35 and 100-foot buffer zone, 30 to 40 trees will be removed that are damaged or dying. These trees will all be chipped and spread in the backyard where there's no grass inside the area that will be known as inside the fence line. For the trees that are removed, stumps will be ground. Within the 35-foot buffer, only a tree that is damaged will be removed. Trees have already fallen in the area. If a danger, will have them removed and chipped with the rest. Outside the 100-foot buffer, I can't talk. I'm not talking. Fence will be erected inside of the 100-foot wetland buffer zone, but outside the 35-foot buffer, as depicted by the pink line and stakes on our second site visit that marked such. This area, the white line on the overview, and will be called inside the fence line. The shed will be placed in the back corner inside the fence line within the 100-foot buffer, but outside the 35-foot. The other landscape projects. They're outside the 100-foot buffer, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to go through the 100-foot buffer to get. I think your scaling's off.
It probably is, but I have to miss the leach field for the septic tank. But I'm gonna put it as close to it as I humanly can, as far away from that back wetland as I can get.
Okay.
I'm gonna measure it once that stuff is cleared out of my way, and I'm gonna try and get it as close to 100 feet or out of it as I can get it.
You're not expecting all of the wood chips to be left on site, right? Because that's a lot.
Oh, wood chips?
Well, we have a bunch of areas in the front that's out of the
Yeah,
buffer
there's
zone
still
too, that we're gonna
there's still
dump
a
them
bunch
over there
of different-
too. I mean, I'm not gonna create a mountain if that's what you're asking, you know?
That's a lot, but
Say right where the, right behind the RV.
There's a big hole back there
a gully
too.
there too that we're gonna fill up as well. We're gonna try to use as much there as possible. What doesn't get used, yes, that will be removed from site. Or be given away to.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a big sign for front for, when you saw the pile, when you came out, I'm gonna let people have it, who doesn't want it.
And then we are gonna replant other trees as well.
I just wanna get rid of the ones that are dead. You guys have
Yeah.
all seen them, they're uprooting themselves, they're disgusting, and I don't want them to fall on my house or my neighbor's house, so let's get rid of them all in one shot. Start new.
Matt,
Yes, sir.
please add anything that may be pertinent to this. Again, I do think that or Matt, if you've got to look at this map that was.
Does Matt have a copy of this? Does he know
He
what
does,
we're
he got
looking
it.
at?
He got it.
Okay.
Again, guys, this is just me sort of kind of showing you where things are gonna go. I know it's
No,
not
that's
this
fine.
way. I tried to like put
Am
the
I
lines. so you
able
can kind
to
of
share
get an
my screen?
Hartley, can you give Matt screen sharing, please?
Will do. Hold on, please.
But you guys.
Okay, he
basically
should be able to, Matt, you should be able to screen share right now.
Sidewalk.
Oh, hold on.
Thank
The
you.
first one, yes, because originally all of this
Okay, I'm just saying.
was gonna go
Okay.
there.
Matt,
Let's see if that works. Okay. So hopefully you can see the ortho photo of the site.
Yes.
Okay. So the area here, let me just get rid of this ruler. The area here that is heavily shaded right here is actually the wetland area that I delineated. It actually is pretty close to what's on the map, which is unusual. I know that I was out a couple of days ago with Jessica and the chair to review the line. The line was pretty obvious as to where it is. My measurements, I know we had the 35-foot zone marked off by tape. My measurements of the buffer zone would indicate that starting from here's the driveway, it starts basically here at the corner and then
Corner of the
goes
house.
a line about this way, right here, like this. So if they stockpile any of
We
the
were aware of
wood
that.
material on site and they did it up in this area right here, it would be out of the buffer zone entirely.
Because I was thinking that corner is right there, it would be out of it.
Is that where the shed is?
Yep.
Okay.
That's where the shed is now.
what do you mean? The new shed?
Yep, where the new shed is now is where I'm gonna put it. Which I believe is far enough away there from that back 100-foot. That back wetland, because that wetland goes back, way back there on that side.
So the shed on your plan, is that existing or proposed?
That's the one that we erected now. That's the one that we put up to replace the old one.
Is it?
In
It's
the corner.
there as we speak.
So-
And
As we
it's
speak
on
though, right
location.
now,
So-
it lives here though. We're
If
moving
you
it
look
over
at the
here. I put
blue
it-
line I've
This is
drawn
the-
on the screen,
This
that's
is proposed.
101 feet from the edge of wetland right there.
And that's where I want to put it, because I think I'll be just outside that 100-foot. But the shed will be inside the 100-foot, but everything else won't be. The only thing that'll be on there is the shed.
So the shed that's in the back corner is the proposed shed. Yes, that's the proposed. Still 35 foot from the wetland.
Well,
Where-
outside the 35 within.
Yeah, outside the 35. foot.
Where it lives
100,
now
100, yeah.
is where the
Yeah.
pond is depicted now. That's where it lives now, is where you're seeing the pond. That's where the shed lives now.
Okay.
And we want to move it back. And then we have that area, which I know it looks big in the picture. I'm just trying to show you what I meant. Put the pond, the fire pit next to it, and put the pavers around it, right there in that corner,
So it's gonna be moved. You're gonna be moving it there?
Yep.
To there.
right to inside the fence line, that back corner. Because again, I was originally gonna put all this stuff on the other side, which is closer to the wetland. I'm gonna move it up to the opposite side of the property, completely away as far as I can get from that wetland.
And your
Well,
fence area.
Say that one more time slowly,
we're
please, 'cause
taking-
Hold on, Jason. So originally, my plan was to put all this stuff over here, okay?
Okay, so that.
I moved it to the other side so I can try and get it out of the buffer. The only thing is I have to move that shed into the buffer by doing that. That's the only thing I have to do is get that shed back here. If I can move that shed backwards, that whole area where the shed lives now, I can put my little pond, my little fire pit, my pavers, and it should be outside your 100-foot range. Because I moved it all the way over there. The only thing I can't do is put the pond in the leach field. It has to miss the leach field before we can put it down, because I have a feeling that's gonna cause a problem with the septic. So I gotta get just past it, and then I can put it right there.
When you say pond, there,
I have a little form. It's like this big.
those plastic tub.
Yep.
Yeah, little plastic tubs.
Little plastic tub I'm gonna put in for the ducks. I'm not talking about building a swim thing here, guys. Removing that big fire pit you guys saw, because I think it's enormous, over and making it like a quarter of the size, right next to it.
Yeah, we're just gonna make one of the ones to sit around.
And unfortunately, the deck, you saw it had to come down because it's all rotten, and I already talked to the building inspector and got a permit for that. It's gotta be rebuilt.
Yeah, that thing had to come completely out because it was, as we were ripping it up.
Just rotted?
Just rotted.
Just gone.
completely
Okay.
rotted.
Okay.
So we already took care of that. And like I said, the paving, the other thing that was there before, we took it all down. We're just gonna reuse those pavers right at the base of the deck. So
Oh,
you
yeah,
have
I
some
gotta,
base
I gotta
space.
reel this in. I'm
Okay.
tired and just.
Jim, I think the easiest way to say it is the only thing that affects the wetlands at this point is moving the shed in that corner, taking down those trees and putting the fence through it. That's everything else. I'm gonna do my damnedest to keep it out of it.
Matt,
Yes.
can you pull up your screen again? With the,
What did we get out of that? Okay.
he was able to draw the line of the
Mm-hmm.
buffer.
Mm-hmm.
Where he drew
Yep.
the
Give me
line.
1 second. Pull this over here. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
So here is the wetland. Hundred feet is here.
So how far off the house is that?
That would be about 64, 65 feet, give or take.
It's 20 off, all right.
So call it about 60 to be on the safe side.
Say, what we wanna do is literally right there.
That's where we're
Yeah,
gonna try
that
and
would,
put it. That crop.
60 would be a fair number.
But but the septic's on that side of the house, so all the traffic's gonna go through the,
So the entire septic sets right
right.
here.
So
I
all
think that
the
corner-
traffic, all the moving is going to happen to the left side of the rock.
Yeah, the driveway and across the front of our house, that backyard into it.
In other words, through
Yep, from the driveway up and then across back and forth right
facing the
there.
house to the left of it. Avoiding any disruption to the neighbors in the septic area.
Yep, and away from the wetland. We're gonna try and stay right behind the house,
Mm-hmm.
as close as we can
Now,
get.
what kind of wetland would you describe that?
What
The
kind of
first area?
wetland?
Yeah,
So I would describe it as a forested emergent wetland. Bordering an intermittent stream. Didn't see anything perennial in the area. Matter of fact, any stream flows I saw in that area were pretty dried up.
Never seen water there as long as I've lived there. Not once, and I would tell you if I did.
You guys haven't lived there that long.
Almost 2 years.
It's not long enough to understand some of the characteristics of the water in the area.
Pat, you have,
This area
Yeah.
does retain water. This area will retain water and allow it to be released slowly back into the environment. So it does have the interests of water quality and flood control, as well as the obvious wildlife habitat considerations on the area behind it.
So it's compensatory. It has the ability to store and slowly east during the summer.
you can tell by the soil color.
And some of the root scouring, that it does rise up and get a fair flow coming down through it at moments and times and years at times.
I'll take a picture when it happens. Never seen it yet.
What's that?
So I've never seen it, but I'll take a picture when I see some water in there. Even when we have a downpour, it still dries out.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like the water likes to go down away from it and just soak out all that area around it. Like that whole forested area is always just drenched. it's soggy, and there's a lot of mold back there and spores, because it's just always wet. And there's no sunlight, because there's so many trees.
Mhm.
It's also a mosquito farm. Like I said, guys, I took what you said to heart. I figured out the best way to get it as far away as I can get it while still getting what I need to be in there.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to be a pain. I know you think I am.
Do you want to see a revisit on this, or you want to roll on this tonight? You and Jessica are out there this week?
Yeah, with Matt. Merrill. There's no water down there yet. But.
If you and Matt and Jessica are out there, I'll step away from this. You guys roll with it. I didn't hear, you didn't say, come on out with the engineer. I didn't hear anything about it, so, you know, it is what it
Yes,
is.
I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know you guys are going.
No, it was just to confirm, to see what.
I had the wetlands delineated.
So
did it.
you basically went out there, you wanted to see how the flagging was for the 35-foot no disturb.
It was, and as you remember, when I walked it, when I went, it was right there.
With 35 feet's 35 feet. We've walked a million of them.
Yep. So there's nothing.
No surprises in that regard. But when I was out there on that particular sidewalk, 40 trees were not being discussed and removed. It was limited.
Yes, but now we gotta move everything out to move the shed backwards. It's the only way we're gonna be able to do it, to keep the rest of it out of the wetlands.
It's not my point. My point is that when we originally went out on the sidewalk,
so
there's X amount of trees. We've gone up from, I think, 15 now to 40. Big difference from the sidewalk. That's all I'm saying. Leave it
But
there.
the 30 to 40 also includes the ones.
There's also ones outside the 100-foot buffer in
Yeah,
there
there's,
too.
there's ones in front of the house that,
But Jessica told me to count all of them.
yeah.
Right,
So-
right. I mean, which is standard operating procedure. Now we need a number of the trees. So
Okay, so you would, you'd like
I
to
only
say another
mentioned
sidewalk. No, let
that
me just
we've
try to.
increased the amount of trees 3 times.
So
from what
guys-
we saw at the sidewalk.
Can I say this? We're never
No,
gonna get to doing
Can you
anything.
stop? You don't get to just, unfortunately, we have to follow the rules, and the rules you have to address the chair. I know sometimes it's silly, but I'll get an email tomorrow saying, reminding me of the, proper
standing operating procedures.
proper meeting decorum. So I have to make sure we keep this all reeled and tight. Let me repeat what I heard from you. You would like another site walk to see the trees.
I'm not necessarily asking for another sidewalk. All I'm making it aware of to everybody else, Pat.
And I think Pat was going there too.
Did you go out on that sidewalk, Pat? I don't remember.
No.
Okay, so
you missed that one.
Yeah.
You had a,
Because our son,
her son had a doctor's appointment. But
it doesn't matter. But when we increase the amount of trees from what was originally demonstrated and showed to me at that sidewalk by 30 more than the 10 or 12 we were looking to remove at that point in time, is a big difference. I would rather just briefly go there, get a better scope of the amount of trees getting removed. I would have liked to have been privy to when you guys went down to look at that, just to review the 35 foot. But that's all I'm saying. I just think there's a lot more trees being removed from what was originally discussed. This is getting moved from there, it is a small little containment pond yet, but there's been enough changes in what I'm seeing right now from what it was at that sidewalk. That's all. Maybe I need to just go out there meet the homeowner, look at the extra amount of trees that are being removed, so I have a better perspective on it. But at this point in time, with that much more tree removal, I'm not gonna budge.
Pat, what are your thoughts? And you could
Yeah, I mean,
feed off what he said too. I don't.
it is a lot more trees that I'm hearing. And so, you know, I personally would like to go, Jim, just to see what are the trees, you know, from where the 15 or how many they said in the beginning to the ones that they need to take down now. I mean, just to move a shed or whatever, but it seems like a lot of trees just to do
And
that.
we're near the 35, the houses within the 100 from the corner.
Yeah, it's 100. Yeah. Okay.
And in the same token,
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it sounds to me like two of the three of you want to go do another site walk to review the amount of trees because of the change in the scope from what you originally heard. Am I correct?
From the original site walk, we have gone 3/4 more of the amount of trees within the 100-foot buffer being removed.
Okay, so I think the most painless way to solidify this is to invest another couple of weeks, continue this meeting, and if we want to schedule a site walk, I will also appear on behalf and go over the areas. We can talk about impacts or lack thereof. But what I will also do as part of my service to my clients is will mark out which trees are going to come down. And I will make a list of what trees.
I just don't remember seeing that many marked either.
They should
But
be marked
I
for
also
us,
have
ribbon.
to listen to the other commissioners. I'm only one vote. Everyone has an equal vote.
Would you continue on, please? Sir?
Matt, did you hear
Matt?
Pat?
Talking to me?
She said
Okay.
you continue.
I was going to
interrupted.
say, I can, we can do a site walk, we can take a look at the area, and I can, for the next meeting, provide the commission with a list of trees that are in the buffer zone and the amount of trees that are out of the buffer zone, species, height, approximate height, because I can't get up and do an approximate measurement, but I can give you, a BDH, the diameter.
Mhm.
And the species, and if I see general, the general condition, for example, if I see trees that are bug infested or trees that are split by lightning, etc., we can get all that listed down so that everybody's clear on what they're being removed for and why. Because I think there are actually some good reasons why some of the trees should be removed. Some of the trees I saw definitely had insect issues that were evolving pretty rapidly. So,
And if you have trees out there that have had lightning strikes, they're occluded, we have open water into them and we know they're center rotted, etc. Yeah, I mean, common sense. Remove the trees. I'm going to go right back to my original point. From what we saw originally to where we are now, we've increased 3/4. And I'm not going to prove something that all of a sudden we're going to cut 15 to 12 trees. Now we're at 40.
I'd like to see them marked, so we know really what we're looking at as far as the trees go.
And as Matt said, he can meet us out there. He'll have all the trees marked. He'll do his due diligence on what the species is, how big it is from, is it a 10-inch, 20, 30? Is this tree in lieu of falling? Is this good? I for some reason, I really would like to see the justification for that many more trees being removed in that area. It's 35 within the 100. There, in the other area of the property is endangered species also.
That was something I was going to bring up.
And
Matt,
the
this
EPA is
is
going to
Matt.
make comments about cold
This
water
was
fishery.
no, they did. This was at the
Surprise.
So DEP's comments were, it's mapped as priority habitat. And there may be a filing requirement under Mass Endangered Species Act. Matt.
That's to the back side of it. It's a separate area.
But think Matt's
Mhm.
the professional and he.
Yeah, he'll enlighten us much
Well,
better.
we need to know if it's, proof is on the applicant.
Correct. Always.
Can I
Hey,
ask Matt a
Derek.
question?
Of course you can.
Yes.
He's your engineer.
Matt, can I ask you a question? All the
Yeah, go ahead.
trees I pointed out to you and all the time you've been out there, all the ones we were talking about, do you believe it, like I do, that they are all damaged, diseased, and need to go and need to be replanted with something that's healthy?
That was one of the reasons why I said, let's go out there and take a look at them, because we can talk about it, but you have 2 of the 3 members that haven't seen those and want to see them. So while I agree with you, let's show the membership exactly what we're talking about so everybody is clear.
And I'm
and Mr.
fine with
Taylor-
that, but
I'm
here's
sorry,
my
what?
issue. My 2 issues are this: 1, the season is getting away from me. And number 2, that back one that's right behind the house, every time we have a thunderstorm, I fear that big branch is gonna come down on my roof. And I can't bring the tree guy out to bring down one tree one day. They don't work like that. It's gotta be one time they go out there and do it once. So that one tree is why I keep kind of pushing back, because I really want it down. I really, every time it
There's
sways
no
back and forth.
misunderstanding. You're adamant to getting the job done.
But you
We
keep pushing
understand
us
that.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. I mean, we started this July
Okay,
17th.
but we're not the
Point
ones,
being, you
we're not
started
the,
off with X amount of trees, you've
We never
escalated.
started with any trees. We said we want to take down trees in our backyard.
My position stands.
I also tell you guys, I'm not exactly sure, and I even wrote it in my original RDA, exactly what you wanted me to say and how you wanted me to say it. I go by arborists. I go by people like Matt. He tells me, the guys who look at the trees tell me they're dead, they're, infected with insects, they got branches coming down. I'm listening to them. They're telling me these trees are no good. To me, I'd rather put healthy trees up that'll be better for the environment than these dead things that I don't think are doing anything for the environment. They're dead. They're full of, unless we're housing bugs and we're happy about that, like they're saying, Matt agreed with me, they're infested with bugs.
So that's why we thought maybe it was better to take those trees down and plant trees that actually are healthy.
Which is why I want to get rid of
Places.
everything that's dead inside that fence line right now in one fell swoop, and then I can start fresh with all that dead crap out of there. I don't know if exactly 30. I went high to make sure that I wouldn't forget any. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't miss any while we did it. You know what I mean?
So you're saying 30, this
Yes,
says
that's a
40,
high number.
30 to 4, okay, so.
Like I said, it could be less, but I don't want to
Discrepancy
miss
in that.
one and say, nope, I didn't get it or I forgot it.
as a board or commission of this town, we need to be mindful of liabilities of granting permits. We also need to be mindful of the state's requirements, local town bylaw, and regulation requirements. We went from some trees, which we looked, they had lived their life.
Absolutely.
And I understand putting a higher number, but 35 to 40 trees. We have 2 commissioners that want to put eyes on it. And
Because I
feel
won't
that is-
vote for it now because
that's a
I have not
very
seen
fair
it.
request.
And I just, just to cover everybody, it's really important.
You were lucky to be able to get Matt out there when you did. We've seen in the past it takes a lot longer than a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But at that point, I have the law on my side where it says if a tree falls on my house, that's where the homeowners goes after the state if I didn't take the tree down and I was told I could not do it.
We're not telling you you can't do it.
But
We said that at the
no,
last meeting.
that's-
If you
that's
don't
what
feel
we're
safe
saying.
with that tree,
But
put
that's
it
where
down.
we keep getting misunderstanding, that you're telling us to wait because you want to see it, but then you're telling me we can. This is where we don't understand.
Because you can take down the tree. That's not the problem. It's the problem of all the trees that you
And
want
it's
to
also
do.
all the other parts of the project that we understand stuff changes. You're adapting the project. Part of the process is adapting the project to better fit the regulations, the bylaws, in the WPA, which
I
I
thought I did a good
understand.
job by doing that way.
you did, but it has changed from when they were, or Pat didn't join us, but Jimmy did, on the original sidewalk. It has changed since then.
Sorry.
It is on us as a commission to vote on things that we're comfortable with, and they're not comfortable voting on it yet. I can't, even if I make a motion and someone seconds it, it's a 2-to-1 vote.
Right.
It's still gonna, you can't. Matt, we've worked with Matt in the past. He's very straightforward. He's straight to the point. He'll be able to quantify this so that when we go out for another site visit, it would be easier for us to understand. There's just a bunch of jumping around, and we can't make a decision like that. It's irresponsible as commissioner to make.
This is a big responsibility for us. I know you guys want to get it done
I
and
know you're
stuff.
frustrated. We're
but-
sorry. We tried really hard to make a lot of these projects transparent so that people can get the stuff done that if it's a safety reason, if it's a health reason, a septic, or protection of your property. If you truly don't feel safe with that tree standing, we're not gonna sit there and say, we're fining you $500 because you cut it down. But to do this properly so that it is done so that if this ever was to rear its head again and the state comes after us or you, they'd go after you before us. We can say we did our due diligence. Matt did his due diligence on this project. So
You can
Let's get
still,
together.
I understand, because those cost more usually take one tree and take
It'll
them
cost me
out.
Get out
$2
there.
grand to take
Yeah,
down that one tree.
but, you could, maybe you know of somebody that's a friend that does trees and could cut that for you.
This
and
tree
leave
is
all the
so
others.
big, I don't think anybody I know who's not a professional is gonna touch it. That's not what my money is.
we don't need.
Not our issue.
Nope, Pat is trying to make you feel warm and fuzzy because obviously I'm not and he isn't. Thank you, Pat. So we have, the next meeting is September 11th.
I'm
Matt,
Yes.
trying to make all the sites.
Erica,
That's just
if
things
you
come
guys can, and Jessica will coordinate, because Jessica needs to be there. She's the one that is our admin right now because we don't have an agent in the town. I don't even know if they posted it.
No,
Thank you, Jimmy, for ruining my night.
well, that's what it said to me when I looked at it. I'm like, yeah, it is what it is, James. No,
So next week, or in next week's a short week, but get out there, maybe middle of next week or the following week before the meeting to look at it. Matt can quantify the request. We understand, we appreciate you moving the stuff around in the yard to better accommodate that buffer that you unfortunately own.
So can I just say this? If you guys come out next week, we've opened 2 site visits. I can't control who comes to them. So if I do it on September 11th, everybody's gonna show up who wants to see it on whatever day that was
the
before
meeting
September
will be
11th.
September 11th.
But I'm saying that
We're
everybody
trying
will
to get
come
there
out.
well before that.
Right.
And
but-
then, we can't have the meeting again, right, the 11th, and we have to wait, Jessica said, another week after the meeting to get the
Mhm.
permit, so we're looking at the mid to late September now. Which
We
is
should
another
be able
month.
to get them on their way right at the 11th. The 12th, they
Right,
should be able to move.
or it would be the next day.
The next day, which one meant the 12th.
Right.
So at the 11th meeting, after we've seen this, unfortunately, it's a 2-week period in between meetings. I by no means, it's not my character to hold anybody's project up. We went from X amount of trees to X amount of trees, and I'm not comfortable with that. I've done this a lot of years. It's bitten us before. I'm not gonna have that happen on my watch.
It happened 2 years ago on Tyler Road. Where
Yes,
someone said they're gonna take down some trees, and next thing we know, we have a retaining wall.
Yeah. So we have to step in a cautious manner. It isn't our makeup to hold people up. That's foolish. It's not. We're normal people too. But when you went from this to that, it deviated in a large amount of tree removal. I want to see, I mean, I can pick out a bad tree just as quick as the best arborist in town. So we can get out there, we'll take a look, it'll be quickly evaluated, we'll get you in at the 11th. The 12th, you can move on
Wait.
stuff.
So I
That's
have a
the,
quick, I have a quick question.
I thought it
Yes,
was the
sir.
same thing.
So if, let's just say the arborist says the tree's dead, let's say Matt says the tree's dead, who is certified to say that, but Jim says the tree's not dead. Do we still have, who wins that battle? Does the arborist know that? or
There's no
does-
battle.
Right.
It's quantifying Jimmy's not gonna sit there and say, well, that tree's not dead. You can't cut it down. I didn't really see any dead trees, but I saw some trees that weren't healthy.
Oh, but that's what I mean.
We're not gonna,
It's just a
does that
hypothetical
make sense
question.
of what I,
It
No,
made
no,
perfect
it's
sense
a-
what you said.
it's a real question. Is there gonna be a back and forth? Jimmy, you're no interested in having a back and forth.
ultimately, I'm not the one that's gonna make the final decision on whether that tree stays or that tree goes.
So I think he's asking who does.
And don't interrupt me. I'm getting back to the simple fact. When I went out on that sidewalk, it was discussed X amount of trees. From there, it's gone up to 30 more trees than we originally looked at and discussed. End of story. There's no more to be explained in that. Nothing more than that.
So a site visit will be scheduled prior to the next meeting.
Mhm.
Matt, if you could please reach out to Jessica to schedule it. And we can, continue this, RDA to the September 11th meeting.
I will put it on my calendar, immediately. In fact, I'm doing it right now.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
With that said, items for the next meeting, we're gonna vote for officers. We are going to hear this RDA hopefully for the
Last time?
final time.
We will.
And
I'll wait to hear from yourself or Jessica.
yes,
Matt will coordinate that. We'll get out there, take another review of it.
and Pat, if you want, could reach out to Jessica if there are any days that don't work. So you can figure it out with her.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll make sure we are both get on the same page, get out there.
Right.
So, the next meeting is Wednesday, September 11th and the 25th, 2024 at 7 PM, Board of Select Chambers, second floor. Meeting will also be held, on Zoom. It is 9 PM and I motion that we adjourn our meeting. Do I have a
Second.
Jimmy second. Roll call vote.
Thank you.
Roll call vote.
James Brunies.
James Hayes, yes.
Pat Donnelly, yes.
Thank you.